So this video is about why cat stacks and women like cat stacks exist, and why cowards like the men who attacked her are to blame for her existence, and the fact that she has reached the position that she has, and not just because they talk about her, but because of reasons that I will get into. So let's begin with some backstory. Tonight I was at a fellowship at my brother-in-law's and sister's house, and they were talking about different things, fasting, like it all has to do with obedience and being obedient to God and submitting, and it just all tied together. It was just a beautiful, like, that place was just so spirit filled, and that's why this whole mind going crazy and God speaking to me thing is happening right now. But basically, we were talking about submissiveness and women submitting to their husbands, and how that's what God calls us to do, whether the husband's in order or out of order, to still submit to your husband. That's just what we're called to do. And a lot of times we're like, but the Spirit told me, and God gave me this gift, so my husband's, against that. But no matter what, your husband is the final authority. And I will say why with these scriptures. And it's funny because I wasn't even thinking about what happened tonight with all that. I just, had forgotten about it. But God wanted me to get a different point from what, we were talking about tonight. And he drew me to these scriptures. I was looking for something completely different, and he drew me to these scriptures. The first one was 1 Corinthians chapter 11, talking about the head covering. And I'm not going to get into all of it. You can read actually all of it from verse 1 through verse 16. I will start at verse 6. For if a wife will not cover her head, then she should cut her hair short. But since it is disgraceful for a wife to cut off her hair or shave her head, let her cover her head. For a man ought not to cover his head, since he is the image and glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man was not made from woman, but woman from man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. This is why a wife ought to have a symbol of authority on her head, because of the angels. Nevertheless, in the Lord, woman is not independent of man, nor man of woman. For as woman was made from man, so man is now born of woman, and all things are from God. Judge for yourselves, is it proper for a wife to pray to God with her head uncovered? Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears long hair, it is a disgrace for him? But if a woman has long hair, it is her glory. For her hair is given to her for a covering. If anyone is inclined to be contentious, we have no such practice, nor do the churches of God. And it's funny that, that mentioned prayer, a man praying with his head uncovered. Because then the Lord led me to 1 Timothy. He's just leading me, and I was thinking he was leading me for a totally different reason, but he's just, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 8 through 15. I desire then that in every place the man should pray, lifting holy hands without anger or quarreling. Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel, with modesty and self-control, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly attire, but with what is proper for women who profess godliness, with good works. Let a woman learn quietly with all submissiveness. I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet, for Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived, and became a transgressor. Yet she will be saved through childbearing, if they continue in faith and love and holiness with self-control. So, basically what this verse is talking about is what, you know, the previous, well, not this verse, but this passage is talking about is what the previous passage was talking about, almost symbolically, but still revealing it quite literally, that the man, you know, is the covering of the woman, and God is the covering of the man. And so the head covering represents the authority, as it says, over the person. So the head covering is a symbol of the woman submitting to her husband being the covering. And, you know, when you think of a cover, something that covers is something, you know, that's the thing that's seen first. And so that's where it comes into the woman being the glory of the husband. Because the cover of the woman, if the cover of the woman is the husband, then, you know, what she shows, what her reflection is, you know, is indicative of what her husband is and what he represents. So if the woman is out of order, the woman does things, you know, that are disobedient, if the woman, you know, is wily or, you know, seductive or whatever, it's a reflection of the man. And this goes all the way back to Adam and Eve in the garden. Read on your own time at Genesis chapter 2. The first verse is, I believe it's 16. Yes, 16 through 24. And it talks about the order of things and how Adam was given the command. And then after Adam was commanded what to do, the woman was formed out of Adam. And that just further proves that the woman is the glory of the man because, you know, she literally has a piece of him and they are one flesh. So it's all one image. My point is, if the man's out of order, it's because he's not, you know, respecting his covering, which is God. And so then if this uncovered man then influences the woman or marries the woman, then her actions are a reflection of his, you know, disobedience. So what happens with women like Kat Stacks, other women who are promiscuous or have bitterness or issues, and men are like, these women are crazy, these women are this, they're that, they're manipulative, they're vindictive, what have you. They don't realize that the men, a lot of times, you know, have the advantage because there are a lot of women, so they get to do whatever they want. And men who are of the world, they're sinning, they, you know, go out and have sex with multiple women, and the things that are on them are then transferred to the woman because, you know, like the woman takes a part of the man's flesh. Intercourse is a form of marriage. It's what consummated the marriage biblically. It's just like the physical representation of the marriage. And so now you have this physical marriage, this fleshly marriage to this individual. And so now that you are one flesh, you begin to reflect what that person struggles with in their flesh. So to say that Kat Stacks is this and that, and, you know, she's out of control, she's just, you know, promiscuous, it's a reflection of the men that she's dealt with. And look at the men she's dealt with. These men who are in these positions of power, these men who, you know, are money hungry, talk about money all the time, these men who are promiscuous and sleep with multiple women, she's now just a reflection of these men that she's dealt with. And so it's important for women to recognize why, you know, keeping your chastity and your virginity intact until, you know, God sends your husband to you, if he sends a husband to you, it's because you become a reflection of every man that you interact with in an intimate way. And if that man, you know, the fact that, you know, you are having premarital sex, he's out of order. And so the fact that he's out of order, you're now a reflection of disorderly conduct. And that's what, you know, Kat Stacks is. And so instead of, you know, bashing her and calling her names and saying she's this and she's that, you know, pray for her to be released from, you know, this image. We'll just pray that she will crucify her flesh, because if she crucifies her flesh, every other man's, you know, influence, you know, it can only attack her flesh. It can't attack, you know, the Spirit of God and the flesh don't exist hand in hand. So the spirit will eliminate the flesh. That's why we must crucify our flesh daily. So pray that she crucifies her flesh, and so that, you know, all those people that she's interacted with and have now created her to be the person that she is will no longer impact her, and she can walk in, you know, the light that God has called us to walk in. So with that being said, that's the end of this video, and I will definitely have more coming soon because God is still speaking in, you know, amazing ways right now, and I have to share these things that He has imparted in me. So take care, and God bless.